I'm Tom Khan, I'm a graphic designer, and I'm showcasing my work to motionplusdesign. I started my career as a graphic designer, and of course, it was the beginning of the electronic music in France. So it was rising, and I started to make LP covers and CD covers and flyers, and of course, they asked me to make photography, picture, and I start to develop that. And of course, I do also music videos, and doing music videos with all these labels brings me to direct advertising. I made and directed several films in France during 15 years. I've made a lot of films, and it naturally brings me to movies. And by doing graphic design, art direction, I naturally work on titles. And this is what brings me here today is of course the love of the movies, the love of the design, and it's a good combination for me. I start to design LP covers for electronic music labels, and it brings me to direct music videos, and it brings me to direct advertising. And of course, by doing graphic design, I go close to the movies, and directors start to ask me to design titles. And for me, titles is a kind of brand identity for films. In a title, you can have the first at first sight you can feel the the mood of the film already. And for me, sometimes a good title is also a good T-shirt. If it's wearable, if it's identifying the project, I think it's a good design. So, for example, I always speak about the design of the Star Wars logo by Dan Perry, but I think it's a beautiful work. It looks like a sci-fi logo. It's futuristic but retro, and it's a perfect logo. I think in the process, my favorite part, of course, is to share ideas with the director, but also improve the idea of the brand identity of the title himself. There is a few things that may look obvious, and behind it, if you improve the process, you will find something different. It's not a question about aesthetic only. I think you need to have an idea behind the title, something which is going to be more unique and really made, tailor-made for the film. I think by heart, of course, it's Enter the Void, because it's really experimental. It's the first time I met Gaspar, and we, how do you say, match or at first sight, you know, he's really fond of typography. He collect posters, and when I enter his editing room, there was many poster on the wall, and he speaks about the idea of already having all these different title, different personality in an organic way. And yes, this part of the process was very interesting because it goes beyond a regular and conventional titling. It goes more experimental. So as a graphic designer, it push the limit of what you can do, and the retinal persistence where we worked together was very interesting to improve for the audience. So photography is a very interesting part of the process because if you need to film or to shoot something for the title design sequence, this is something that I can do, and it's very interesting because it's beyond only the title design. You can really create a sequence and with the director. But unfortunately, sometimes you are already in post production when they ask you to work on it. So the set is already closed, the shooting is done, but sometimes some director they already think about the title design and they allow you to shoot the sequence. And of course, this is very interesting to do. I didn't really choose the project. Some people reach me, and I ask always to see a sequence of the project first because I want to see if it's going to match. I want to see if the director is pushing the work and if the thing is tangible, is solid. And from this moment, of course, there is more classic film, more experimental film. There is many different way, and I like every kind of design. So sometimes I do really quiet things. Sometimes I do more experimental things. So it really depends on what you can find and how you can spend this time doing design with the director. So, and it's a human thing also. You need to have a good relationship because it's a long process. You will spend several weeks to work. So you need to have a good collaboration. So yes, most of my work is commission work, and it give a really small space for personal works. But I always intend and always try to the thing. We do what we love. We love what we do. So when I have time, even if it's few minutes, I just do few things, and it brings me to another idea or to another tool, and then of course I'm looking for the right project to express that. Now I spend more time for my personal works. So it can be pictures, sometimes it can be paintings. Of course, now there is NFTs, which is very interesting because I do personal pictures and I start to animate them, and it doesn't go for commission work, even for advertising, and it's not going to be used for titles. So I create a space for that and for personal work. But a few years ago, I was painting on canvas. I still like to draw. I still like to paint, and yes, and then when I have time, I still do also typographic research. It really depends on the project. Sometimes I build a team because, of course, if you don't have the right skills, the right tool, it's better to hire someone who can do that better than you. And most of the time, I start to work alone on the concept, and then we go through a discussion. Also, there is the director who has something to say. So the creative process is between the director and me, and then when we start to build and to craft the titles, I need sometimes some help, and this is very interesting because the teamwork makes you stronger. Yes, I learned a lot about during my career about graphic design, about working with people, client or teammates, also about how time can fly away because you know 25 years went like this, doing photography, graphic design, uh, fi- film advertising. You won't see the time, and the time goes and goes. So I would say to younger generation, yes, if you aim to something, go and dare to do that step by step by small step, and then you can have something great at the end. But you need to start with what you have, where you are. Don't wait for a bigger tool or better condition because this is how we all start. As I said during the talk in Motion Plus Design, I start with a small computer and then I learn other things and I learn other tools and it goes bigger and bigger and bigger. But I start with making logos and layout for small electronic label flyers. So it was very humble at the beginning. But you know, after this, sky is the limit. You can. There is also other people who talk today who made incredible things with big teams, and I can work alone, and I can work also with 100 people on a film shooting, for example. But it doesn't matter. This is very interesting. This is what I learned, and I learned that doing what you like to to live is fantastic because you know I work almost every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it doesn't feel painful. You know, it's always for being better, greater, and make beautiful things. So yes, this is what I learned. This is precious. This is what I have made, and I didn't take enough time to speak to the young audience, for example, because at the beginning I only have 30 minutes, so I showcase my work. But if I have even 15 minutes more, I will speak directly to the young audience and the student in the theater and say, okay, don't worry. This is 25 years of design, and during these 25 years, I learned how to direct a film. I learned how to make nice photography for big cars and big company and big brands. But I start as a student, so we start on the same thing, same page, a pencil and a white page, and this is it. And then after you learn. The only thing is, how many time will you make the sacrifice to this commitment? You know, I'm speaking with my students sometimes, and I tell them, okay, on Friday night I don't go out. On Saturday I work. On Sunday I work. After 1 month, I work 8 days more than average people. Can you imagine after 1 year and after 25 years how many days you have more? Of course, it's more experience, it's more work. So at the end, you have this portfolio. But of course, if you don't do that, this commitment, it's like sports. This is totally exactly the same thing. There is athletes outside. They train every day and they have their skills. They have, they are successful in what they are doing with their body because they train hard. And at the beginning they were just a child, so things are processing. It's the process, it's the natural process. You can go faster, you can go stronger if you have something that is meaningful and obvious and successful, but you need to move. So the thing is, don't wait for the next train. Just try to walk, just try it step by step. Small steps is enough. Brick by brick makes a great castle at the end. But if you are waiting to have the tool, to have all the trucks to make this castle, it will never exist. So it's better to work, take your time, do that, no pressure. The only pressure is your limit pressure. You can put yourself inside this process of trying to do something. I'm 50 years old now, and even on Friday night after 8 p.m., after dinner, I go back and just, move few things on my computer, just try things that I don't have time to do during the week. But for me, it's also very important, but I do that naturally because I'm dedicated to what I'm doing. So I'm don't feel that I lose time. I don't feel that I lose something. I am just, always doing things, and at the very end, the small things became bigger. But pour toi, it's the same for you. As a freelance artist, I have some friends, they are freelance. Thursday night, they go and drink beer. Friday night, they go out and drink beer. Saturday, they sleep. Saturday night, they go out. Sunday, they don't do nothing because they are like this. On Monday, I spend 3 days working more, but I don't feel that I'm working. I just feel that I'm creating wealth. Yeah, it's different. It's not about money. It's about pleasure and how do you say? In French, we say épanouissement. I don't know the word in English, but it's you feel great to do that. You feel better to do that. It's always by experimenting. If you want to learn something, or if you want to try something different, you have the time to do that. It's a question of choice. You made your choice. I have kids and wife, so I split my time, and I also learn about quality time. You know, you can spend the whole day on social media, or you can just say, okay, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 2 hours for working, 1 hour for the family, and you can, organize your day, and it's much more efficient to do that. When you see the lineup, when you see the work of this guy, it's like, wow. Even Dan, he's like, wow, this is incredible, and we don't have the skills to do that. So it's very massive. It's very impressive. He did some James Bond opening titles, which is a kind of dream for a graphic designer. But yes, it needs to be turned into positive pressure. It's emulating you. Don't take things for bad things always. Sometimes it's better to copy, to be inspired, than to reject. And this is what happens with social media. You see so many things that at the end you reject everything. So the second way to manage that is to say, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, okay, let's take it. Let's take inspiration. Let's copy. Let's do everything. And then maybe something better is going to come up from that. But of course, trying to turn this negative pressure and positive pressure is something difficult. You need to have distance with everything. So, of course, if you need to turn off the social media, turn off the social media. If you don't want to see a movie, because sometimes Tom, you should see this movie, you should see this movie. It's too much pressure. I don't want to see this movie at this moment. But maybe later I will rediscover this film because I want to go it's a positive way, in a positive way, and I will grab the thing. But sometimes, when people, it's a kind of harassment. In fact, even it's a, even social media is a kind of harassment. You can everything is bombing, 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 and it's too much things, and you are totally drawn by that. So yeah, sometimes it's good. I'm, I would say that because I don't feel old, but maybe it's wiser sometimes to ignore the thing and do your own thing. I'm with my computer doing my thing. Maybe it looks old school, or maybe the next generation will totally forget about my design, but I will keep pushing the process, keep doing the thing. Maybe, yes, sometimes I look around me because I'm still curious, but yes, I turn this into a positive energy. So this is really difficult because when you are young, you are trying to find your place. So that's why it's depressing to see the other because you think they are higher than you, but it's fake. This is social media. In social media, you only put big things, beautiful place, beautiful dishes, best pictures. It's not the regular life. So I think we should not keep this. Even me, I put design, design, and design, but for me, it's more something to communicate about my work and not something, to put pressure on other people, And if someone don't want to follow me because he feels too much pressure by the design, I totally understand that, because sometimes I follow people and then at the end it's sometimes it's not too much, but as you said, it gives you a kind of negative pressure, so it's better to turn off. I must say that my Japanese roots and cultural background has a strong influence of about what I design because, of course, when I was a kid, I grew up with Japanese packaging, candies, whatever you buy, it's always like pop, colorful, and I have all this in mind. Games, toys also have this kind of techno design, and naturally, when I start to study typography. It was very Latin, it was very clean, and as I said, when the electronic music has rised in France, I was at the right time at the right place because with all this background, I start to make tech technological design, LP covers, different things, and it matched perfectly with electronic music. And then, as you have seen, the Matrix, Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas match also perfectly in this world. So it was very easy for me, and that's why they call me. It was easy for me to create and to design all these logos. And of course, when Pierre Buffin from Buff Company called me for Enter the Void, it was very natural for me to work on Enter the Void. It was like uh, a view at night in the street of Tokyo, and this is what we have made. It looks like Japanese neon. It looks like some Japanese uh, window shop. So it was very interesting, and I didn't make any effort to do that. Everything was really natural for me in the process of designing. So yesterday I went to NFT in America, and it was very interesting because we can hear and see physically the people who are doing NFTs. And now there is many things about NFTs, and here people speaks about their concept and how they get there. So it was very interesting because as a creative, I also need a space to express myself, not on commission thing, but for my personal work. And I think it's a kind of digital gallery, which is very interesting as a concept. Of course, for the moment, there is a strong community, and there is also many people who get inside the NFTs, and maybe we need time to improve the thing, but the system works perfectly. I really like the idea of the blockchain, for example, and you can buy a genuine project. You can really buy something that you love. You can really help an artist that you like. So for me, it's very important. So let's say what we are going to do is that. But of course, I'm preparing some project on the and NFTs. Yes, I need to say to Motion Plus Design, thank you for inviting me in Los Angeles. It was very interesting to share my experience. I think in the audience, if there is some students, some young artists, it was very good to for them to listen to all these lineup, all these artists, because they are sharing their experience, and I think motion design highlights uh, this work of motion design, and it's very interesting because this is very large. There is 2D CGI, there is animation, there is many different style, and I think we need to continue to speak about our work, and we need more and more also motion design in our life, because social media needs motion design. There is many things to do, many things to create, many things to explore.